Hello Weekend Crafter, welcome back to the Craft Time Studio. This is Ansher, Weekend Crafter, and for this weekend, I will be playing with Sculpey's clay transfers. So if this is something that interests you, I hope that you consider liking and subscribing to the Craft Time Studio for your weekend dose of crafts. I got 2 packs. One was the geometric pack, which had the scribbles, swirls, dots, and deco fan designs. The shiny part is where the designs are and the backside is matte. I also got the second pack, which has botanical designs. It had blooms, cottage floral, tropical, and modern floral designs. For the first project that I did, I used a floral cutter, some scissors, and the Decofan clay transfer. I traced the cutter onto the transfer so that I don't waste too much of it. Next, I bring out my clay and flatten it in a thicker setting, maybe a 3 on your pasta machine. Then I place the clay transfer. The design should face the clay. If you have a roller, gently roll over the transfer. In this case, I use my fingers to lightly press down the design. Then I use the sponge to get the paper wet. In the instructions, it says you have to wait 3 minutes for the design to set. You need to lift the paper up and do not drag it across the surface. Otherwise, you can distort the design. Next, I position the flower cutter and press down to cut through the clay completely. Then, you put some clay through the roller again and roll a long strip. Cut around the perimeter to get clean lines. I then got a tube wrapped in foil and carefully placed the clay around it. Cut off any excess clay. I want to make a center to the flower, so I get some brown clay and flatten it into the number 4 setting. I then get some liquid Sculpey to place on the ring. I also used the liquid Sculpey to adhere the small circle to the center of the flower. I textured this using my detail needle as well as some medium grit sandpaper. This then gets baked following the instructions on the packaging. Once it cools, I placed a glaze on top of the design to seal it. Care to guess what I used these rings for? They became napkin rings. A good idea if you want to personalize things for a fancy party. On to my next project. For this one, you will need a square cutter. I rolled out my clay into a thinner setting, maybe a 7 or a 6 on your roller, and you will find out later why it needs to be thin. My cutter is not very sharp, so I just used it to mark the clay, and I actually brought out my tissue blade to cut off the excess clay. I made 2 squares. I also marked the diagonals on both squares. I will only use half of the first square, and I was left with a right angle triangle. For the other square, I start stamping on the lower triangle. I stamp the words "for next time." Next, I bring out the clay transfer sheet and trace the square on its matte side. I then cut it out into a triangle. I again gently rub the transfer onto the clay before getting it wet. Then, peel it upwards. Remember, don't drag it across so as not to ruin its design. I get my tissue blade and run it across the bottom of the triangle to lift it up. Maybe you've guessed already what I'm making. It's a bookmark. To make sure that the page of the book fits through, I placed a card on top of the square and then placed the triangle on the corner, effectively sandwiching the paper. I neaten the edges and then I dot them to make sure the clay adheres. I baked this first. Then I removed the paper. I decided that I wanted the letters to be colored, so I tried this technique. I got my colored liquid Sculpey in purple and filled out the letters using my detail needle. Then I cleaned everything up with a cotton bud dipped in some acetone. By the way, I apologize for the quality of the video. The rains have not let up, and even with additional lights, I am still casting shadows on my glass mat. So sorry for that. Hoping for better weather in the coming days. Once everything is neat and clean, this goes back to the oven to be baked again. Once baked, I brush the top with some glaze. And there you have it, 2 front projects to make with Sculpey's clay transfer. I hope that you enjoyed today's video, and if you haven't yet, I hope you consider liking and subscribing to the Craft Time Studio for your weekend dose of crafts. Have a crafty weekend! Bye!